There's one common feature to the things that have worked very well for us versus the areas where we've struggled a bit harder, is we seek out categories where our customers make money. We believe that the consumer trends around food on the go and the channel trends that are supporting that are going to support strong above overall food industry growth in the developed markets in which we operate. And we've evolved our business quite a lot over the last 3 years from a singular focus on establishing our position through cost leadership to one that's much more centered around relationship management, or what we would call internally customer intimacy. So I also think you're seeing a very strong future for local brands, particularly at the premium end.
And start to think about how consumers and how Irish society has changed since the recession. So I'll look at our approach to life, our culture, how it has evolved, and how a new emerging landscape can offer opportunities for Irish companies and for Irish brands. We have a new realism where we'll see a consumer that is resourceful and resilient, and one that is emerging from the pressures of the financial crisis. They will demand the tools that help them create more engaging experiences that they can enjoy to the fullest. People have a sense that they belong together, they have a collective future, and it's really about replacing the individualism of the boom years, and new values and sense of purpose are emerging. And it's no longer about building brands, it's about building brand communities.
That a brand which interacts more positively at more points in the consumer journey than its competitors tends to win in the category that it's operating in. You know, you create a stimulus for people to consider a brand, and then good luck. You know, you can't really control them. You know, the consumer these days goes off and searches in lots of different ways themselves. They talk to their mates, they look at videos, they ask their whole network of people what they're about, and finally they get to a shelf. So here we are. There's your brand, the pink bit, and it's like deliberately like a kind of magnet, like a horseshoe magnet, and it's got its powers of seduction and its powers of persuasion. And it came down to us understanding that we had what we call 8 lenses. There are 4 of seduction and 4 of persuasion. But just to show you that there are those 8, and it is by means of these 8 lenses, which we kind of think of as the vital signs of a brand.
We know our consumer and ultimately our audience are an entirely different audience to what they were a number of years ago. And they are, you know, absolutely empowered from being passive to really, you know, ultimately they're sitting with watching television with your phone in your hand, the iPad, the iPhone. There's a dialogue. They want to interact. They want to hear more through all these different channels. And really the power is in their hands. And ultimately knowing when is the moment that for that brief you can connect best and most efficiently. We're asking our agencies for a story and for an idea. We write a brief for an idea, and it's channel neutral. And that's been incredibly powerful for us, that whole storytelling piece. And Heineken, you know, that word storytelling literally is a course within our global university in Amsterdam.
So I just wanted to briefly touch on some of the digital trends impacting marketeers at the moment. You know, there's a continuous growth of the digital connections. The pervasive global mobile usage is just ongoing, and I think there's so much more of a focus becoming on mobile now. It's just going to be immense. And equally, the disruptive power of social networks. And it's impacting on our daily behavior. Texting has become like blinking. The Joy Tree was a chocolate-giving tree that surprised and delighted passers-by. The magic of randomly encountering a chocolate tree in a suburban Dublin park, for us, replicated the joy of eating Cadbury Dairy Milk chocolate. So we put 10 cameras in place, hid in the bushes, and crossed our fingers and toes. And this is what happened. We were clear on having an idea that was designed to be discovered and shared, revealing it to our followers, fans, and friends via our social media touchpoints. And we had our PR team and digital teams working hard in terms of achieving that. And we had a lot of news coverage, blog coverage, online competitions, radio competitions as well.
In Valeo Foods now, everything we do is based on insight. So it's absolutely critical that we understand what the consumer wants, what the consumer thinks of our brands, what the consumer wants within the category, and where is the opportunity within the categories. And we need to be single-minded in that approach. In terms of oddlums, since time began, flour came in bags. And the one consumer insight that we took out of oddlums was consumers didn't like the fact that when they put it in the press, it created a mess. So with a lot of work with our factory, we moved oddlums into a tub format, a resealable tub format with a scoop inside, and I have to say it's been one of the most positively received launches in the marketplace.
So Fairlife is all about value-added dairy that sells vitality to health-conscious people, because we haven't figured out quite yet how to do what the juice categories and the water categories have done so well, which is add value to milk. Consumers are looking for more than they've ever looked for before in their products. Everyone knows that. They're looking a little bit deeper. They're reading ingredient labels. They're checking out the back of those packages. 69% want to know where their food comes from. 65% want to know how their food was processed. Milk is a superfood. It's got natural protein, vitamins, and minerals, calcium in it. But how can you dial that up more? And that was what he set out to do. And through a patented cold membrane filtration process, that's how we start the base for all the products that we make today. So essentially, it's separating the milk into its 5 components: water, vitamins and minerals, lactose, protein, and fat. And then keeping out a lot of the water, keeping out the lactose, and therefore you end up with a higher concentration of protein and vitamins and minerals.
By just thinking simply, telling stories, thinking simply about how our consumers think about things and building our brand around that. Using all that fun stuff that I'm talking about to try and get healthy food to my own child into a business, into a brand, to try and solve a society problem and make some money along the way. Everybody of our competitors targeted mum. I'm this small startup trying to go into a category that is dominated by these multinational players, and whose customers are all multinational supermarkets as well. So to stand out, to have any chance of creating any market share, we had to be innovative and different. And within the context of what the brand stood for, we innovated with that packaging. Everything was glass jars before. We innovated by mixing weird ingredients together that people hadn't done before. And our mission is simply to improve kids' lives through giving them a better relationship with food. That we've built our brand on a values-based system. I think we've been more consumer-obsessed than any of our competitors. But we think, as I've alluded to before, that businesses have this social responsibility to the communities that they serve.
Are you going to mind spending 17 pence, or let's call it 18 euro cents more, to have a great mixer to make the whole drink come alive?
It's a great day, I'm feeling good. Oh, the possibilities of what I could, do with the world at my fingertips. My imagination brings a smile up to my lips. Oh, fascinating.
So we started with that. It's all about ingredients. This is Congo-Rwanda border. This is the bark of the cinchona tree, or the fever tree, hence our name, where you get the purest quinine in the world. And we're using some fabulous other ingredients like bitter orange and lemon. This is a mixed grove of orange and lemons from Sicily. These are the best you can get in the world. The trouble is, when you get to the size of these really big drinks companies, they're trying to optimize everything, and they've completely lost sight of what they should be doing in terms of quality, and left this massive barn door open for us at Fever Tree to drive through. Niches are good because it means the big guys find it quite boring to try and attack a niche. But hey, for me, we're small, but not that small. For God's sake, go and become entrepreneurs, because if you get it right, and especially in food and drink, what could be more fun?